It's about creating conversations, and then we can share them. Arrow.net, ARROE.net. All right, let's do it. Let's play it forward. These are real people, real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 505 is with Marine Major Tom Schueman and Zach, creators of the book, Always Faithful.
Hey, good morning. We're doing all right. Thanks.
First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank both of you for your time to serve the nation and as well as the world. I mean, you guys are dedicated to what you're doing, and from this book, we're going to see how deep your dedication and loyalty has gone.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
The book is called Always Faithful. For the two of you, very rarely does the average person get to see this side of the storyline. What was it like for you guys to collaborate to bring it together?
Yeah, I think that's important, that the dual narrative structure of the memoir, it's important to get both voices, and it's really, it's not just a book about a war or a book about evacuations. It's a book about family and friendship and service. And so it was always imperative to have Zach's voice as part of this story rather than a guy who spent 17 months in Afghanistan try to tell you what that country's like. You've got someone who was born there, who was raised there, who's invested in this country, and you get a unique insight into the beauty of the culture and the people. And so I think this structure was really important to the overall storytelling.
Zach, we don't know how the relationship began, but where did you find the trust inside your soul? Because sometimes Americans, we're crazy people.
Yeah, but they have good people too.
Yeah.
We work together. We fought together for our same purpose. The purpose is for the peace of both country, not the both country only, just for the whole world, and that was very, very excited for me to work with them, and I was eager to go serve my country, help my partners, the U.S. forces, and go just serve for my people and bright future of Afghanistan, and for the people of Afghanistan and our partners, U.S. and the nation of the U.S.
Major, it's a sad story that most of us only know the story of Afghanistan through the news media. For you to release a book like this, where you're going to kind of set some views straight, did you have to go through? So I've talked with so many U.S. soldiers, men and women, where they have to go through the editing process through the government. Did you have to do that as well?
Yeah, there's some official protocols, but I understand what my left and right limits are, and this is not just me trying to say this is what it's like, or it's really, again, it's an opportunity to share about family and friendship, and I think that's a story that everybody can kind of get behind.
We've got an audience this morning. We've got a U.S. Marine, a soldier who has served the U.S. Army, and we've also got civilians as well who are going to have questions for you. The first one is up right now.
Hello. How are you both doing today? And thank you for your service as well.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I was wondering, hearing your story, I don't know that much about it, but just hearing the commentary here in the beginning, what was it like when you two both met each other for the first time on both sides, one than the other? If you could tell me what was your perspective in meeting each other.
Sure. I had prior to Zach, I had a few interpreters, and most of them were quitting because of how dangerous it was. Some of them did not speak English. Some of them did not know the local dialect of Pashto. And so, the initial impression is I was just happy that Zach was proficient and competent in his profession. And so there was an immediate value added and recognition of that. But that was kind of transactional. Very quickly, it became evident that Zach was much more than just a person who can interpret a language or a culture, but he was really a fighter and warrior. And when he started to take on responsibilities above and beyond what was required of him, he moved from just a guy who translates for us to kind of becoming one of my Marines, somebody in my platoon as well.
So, Zach, Do you feel like that this was a destiny for you, that you were called to it because something inside your heart had to feel right, and that did you come from a special training that was going to say, look, you've got to work with these soldiers because it's about community when it really comes down to it?
Not really a special training for me, but I was just language, just translate part of the U.S. forces. And when I get there, joined my team 3-5, and it was really dangerous. Before me, some of the interpreters, they just quit it. They didn't go out to the patrol, go to the field, and go to the war. And I was scared at the first, and then I think, who gonna do it? Because they are come here for our country. And to help us out and keep the tourists away, and work for our country, for the future of Afghanistan. And they are going. They use Marine. They were youngest guys, about 18 and 19-year-old, same age as me, and. Then I decided I gotta serve for my country with my American partners, and that's what I like it, and I did sacrification for both our country.
Major, you've become a voice for so many, and from what I understand in sitting down with so many men and women is the fact that that it takes the author in you as well as the voice in you to become their voice as well, because a lot of soldiers do not know how to talk or don't want to talk. You are now that person with this book.
Yeah, well, to me, I hope I'm able to tell the story of the junior Marine, the junior soldier who is 18 or 19 years old and answers the call to duty and answers the call to service and does what our nation asks them to do. And so, many people got the impression of the fallout of Kabul and saw that catastrophe. But what maybe not everybody saw is that there were young men and women that were holding the line from 2-1 and 1-8, these Marine battalions who, despite that sea of chaos, there were young men and women there who were courageous and faithful all the way to the end. And so if I have an opportunity to kind of amplify that junior Marine or soldier, it's my privilege to do so.
What was it like when you saw things starting to crack down? The way the news media was there, but they were to me it's like a thunderstorm. They're always going to go to the worst part of the story and not show you the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's human nature to kind of gawk or look at that kind of stuff or stare at that. When you see an accident, sometimes it's hard to turn away. But again, that's part of why we felt compelled to tell this story, is that there's a lot of incredibly brave young men and women whose story is not told or hasn't been observed. And I think it's a story worth knowing. And if we get to say their names or if we get to highlight their valor or courage, that's what we wanted to do.
CBS started a brand new show that was about a U.S. soldier coming back from Afghanistan with his interpreter, and they turned that into comedy. You're giving us the more authentic, but don't you think that more of these stories are going to grow because there is a brotherhood, there is a connection between the two of you?
Of course. I mean, it's any relationship born in combat is special and unique. When you become brothers under fire, you become bonded in a way that is unique, and so I think you'll find that it forges this lifelong relationship and kind of kindred spirits that you may hear more about.
Zach, did you feel like it? Because I mean, if somebody were to approach me and say, "I need your help to be able to create a connection with the people, with this community," Zach, what was there something that you kind of did you ever stand back and go, I don't know, or was this something you go, we have to do this? This is something that must be done.
Yeah, something is right. I must do it. And this is our responsibility. It doesn't belong to religion or nation. That's humanity. we got to work together, and we help each other. We are making brothership, friendship, and this is all we done. Whatever needs to be done.
Hey, good morning. This question's for the Major. Are you still active?
I am. I'm in the infantry battalion, 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. I'm still active.
Okay, outstanding. Listen, my name is Orlando Williams de la Rosa. I am a former sergeant, United States Marine Corps, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, rah.
I was deployed with 13th MEU in 2001 after the September 11th attacks. Now, this is interesting. You're talking, you're writing this book about the Marines' experiences over there in the war. I kind of wanted to do something different, being that I'm a veteran who's going through the system, the VA healthcare system. You haven't reached that point in your life yet, there, Major. But I wanted to tell the view from the point of view of the veteran who's returned from war and going through the PTSD and things like that. How did you get started with your active duty and you're writing a book?
Yeah, there's certain constraints while being active duty and writing, but
right.
Knowing my left and right lateral limits was important, and I stayed tactful and respectful, and in terms of what the strategy is, I was a lieutenant. The strategy wasn't on me. I went and I fought where I was told to go, and so we keep it at the tactical level and our experience there at the tactical level.
Okay. So, yeah, you can't tell too many of the secrets or anything like that. So the Marine Corps supports you as you
the Marine Corps has been
endeavor?
I'm telling it's our motto, Semper Fi. That's right. What the book is all about. It's about being no better friend, no worse enemy. It's about being always faithful. And so I'll continue to hopefully make Semper Fi more than just a motto, but actually how we live. And I think the Marine Corps can support a story like that.
Outstanding. It's good to go. My second question is for Zach. It's one of the things that on the outside I'm paying attention to what's going on with all the people who help us there, all the translators like yourself there, Zach. Were you given U.S. citizenship? Because that's one of the concerns that I'm like, if we're helping out our troops, and I think, they should be given citizenship.
I applied in 2016 for the special immigration visa, but because of my lack of documentation, it is rejected in 2021 March, and we appealed it again, but I didn't have the response. Like right now, the situation is very terrible in our country, and we are accused to work side by side with our American partners, and we cannot stay. We don't stay there because our life was in very danger and risk. My family, and
absolutely,
that's why we do withdraw and come to United States to keep our lives safe. And I hope in the future, if U.S. government give us citizenship or keep us here for some time.
Well, Zach, you know what? You're hanging out with the Marines. Hey, I'm sure some of that is rubbing off on you. Don't give up. All right? Keep going. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, bye.
Major, when you do a book like this, there's got to be speaking engagements that the two of you are going to be going to. Are you setting up a tour? Because there's listeners that are hearing this on iHeartRadio, and they're going to go, I want to go and hear them speak.
Yeah, we've done a couple engagements. I'm pretty excited to be able to go back to Chicago, where I'm from, and actually where I was commissioned, the library where we were commissioned. We're going to have an opportunity to discuss the book there and sign a few books. And we've got a great publisher, and I'm sure they're going to take care of facilitating that tour and have some opportunities for us to meet with the public and to continue this conversation.
Now, Zach, one of the things that Orlando did bring up was the PTSD. We always hear of the soldiers having PTSD. What about you as an interpreter?
As an interpreter, as I said before, we did our responsibility. Mm-hmm. Our whatever belongs to me, I did more than that. And if in the future I need it, I'm ready to do it again, and for both country. And that's how I did, and I'm ready in the future too.
Major, do you see this also as being a book of teaching in the way that, God forbid anything ever happened on our own soil, that we've got to be able to work with people in order to, this could be that manual. I say, Major talked about it in this. This is what needed to happen. We needed to bring people together, and this is how they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope there's some lessons to be learned and taken from the book. And anytime any of these conflicts in our future, we're going to have to leverage our allies and our partnerships, and so we've got to keep our promises to them. And if we make a deal with them, or if we commit something to them, we've got to deliver on our end. And hopefully, this highlights that at least some of us are committed to seeing those promises through, no matter what. Because yes, we'll continue to need our allies in the future.
So how did you train for this? Do they put the Marines through the special training on how to build the community, or is it something that was planted in you because maybe you picked it up in church, you picked it up in your own community? How did you know that in order for you to do your job, you had to make this connection?
Sure. My whole life, or whether it's my mom or within my church, it's always been people stepping up and everybody finding a way to contribute and to be useful, and that everything is done better in partnership, and everything is done better as a team. And so, the individual can only get so far, and when you have two or three, you're much stronger. And so, the Marine Corps had great training, and I was trained very well, and we understood counterinsurgency tactics, and we understood the how important it was to understand the culture and to leverage our interpreters. So the training was good, but life, I think, taught me a lot of those lessons as well. One
of the things that I've learned in talking with a lot of the men and women who have served our nation, who have gone on to write novels, the first book is the one where you basically cleanse your soul. Do you have novels on the way where you can talk about events that, based upon this story, takes place, or what? Because you can't stop at just this book, dude. Your writing is too well.
Yeah, well, it takes a village, and it was a great effort to tell this story. And, I went to Georgetown and I studied literature, and then I got to teach at the Naval Academy. I got to teach writing and literature. And so writing is something that I'll continue to do because it's how I make meaning. It's how I understand how I'm feeling. And so writing to me at times is as important as breathing. And so I'll continue to write. Excellent.
The two of you have got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Excellent. Well, you be brilliant today, the two of you, okay? And thank you once again for serving our nation as well as the world.
Thank you, sir. Simplify.